Ciao a tutti e benvenuti a questa terza parte di gameplay di GreedFall. Allora, sono passati diversi giorni in realtà da quando ho registrato la seconda parte e mi dispiace perché avrei voluto farne di più, però adesso ho ricominciato. Dunque, nella seconda parte avevo deciso di scortare l'alchimista fuori a costo di assistarmi contro le ire di quello della fazione. E poi sono andato a salvare il cugino e ho scoperto altre missioni secondarie, tra cui quella di, quella di mettere della roba di merce che ormai bisogna fare passare di contrabbando, e ho scelto l'opzione furtiva barra aggressiva. E ora come ora devo fare un preparato di sonnifero per occuparmi delle guardie e arrivare così in fondo a mettere la merce, se non ricordo male. E ora posso al tavolo da lavoro, vediamo un po'. Pozione soporifera. Non hai un livello abbastanza nel talento richiesto. Ok. Sì. Il suggerimento è quello, ma non posso comunque fare quella missione perché non ho il talento, a meno che facciamo un altro tentativo, magari. Magari qualcuno è in grado. Sì, tu sei in grado. No, nemmeno te. E oltre al fatto che non ho nemmeno i componenti necessari per fare questa pozione, quindi si va al vecchio stile di ignoranza. Probabilmente perderò dei punti in una fazione, ma pazienza. Ora andiamo a occuparci di questa cosa qui. Comunque dire che questo gioco è molto strutturato, perché ancora adesso non sono arrivato all'isola e sto facendo un sacco di cose. Bene, bene. E come faccio? Ah, posso andare a parlarci.
Halt! The warehouse is off limits. Move along.
Vediamo un po'. Non ho livello 30. Insisto.
Can't you make an exception?
No, sorry, milady. Move along, please. Now!
Very well, I'm going.
E come faccio a fare sta missione? Se non posso prepararla, sono in una brutta situazione perché non ho né i talenti né la possibilità, perché ho preparato cioè il tavolo da lavoro, intendo, è lì, e un po' se c'è la possibilità di prenderla da un mercante. Vediamo un po'. Perché anche se prendessi i componenti non potrei comunque. Non potrei farlo. Proviamo, se no passo direttamente all'altra missione e vedo se poi riesco a trovare il modo. Questo dove c'era l'alchimista che avevo aiutato a scappare. Vediamo.
Welcome. It's such a pleasure to see you again. Have you seen anything to your liking? What might I help you with?
Vediamo un po'. Ah, posso anche comprarla, perfetto. Meno male. Sì. Sì. Perché no? Perché non prendere anche una bottiglia di brandy così, giusto per il viaggio. Ora, così equipaggiato, posso andare a fare questa missione qua.
Orders haven't changed, you know. No one passes.
Sì, Gandalf. E che dovrei fare?
Can't you make an exception?
No, sorry, milady. Move along, please. Now!
Very well, I'm going.
Orders haven't changed, you know.
Very well, I'm going.
Ok.
Greenblood, do you need something?
Ok, niente.
I must leave you.
Ma ovviamente... Vabbè. E quindi... Ma forse... Ah, devo correggere la... Ok. Ok, ci metto un po' ma ci arrivo, quindi... E voi che volete?
Milady, we were given orders to wait here with the merchandise.
You're going to have to wait. We need to find a way to clear the access to the warehouse.
Sì, dovrete aspettare. Che riesca a fare sta cosa, ci metterò un'ora, ma... No, mi auguro di metterci meno. Allora... Ma se non ricordo male... Sì, perfetto. Quindi ora... La pozione soporifera ce l'ho. Ah, ma non c'ho il talento. Ah. Andiamo a fare questa. Magari se ho abbastanza fortuna posso trovare qualcuno che lo sa fare.
Could I trouble you again?
Have you found Jonas?
Not yet, but I haven't given up. About that, what do you
Sentiamo.
think about Captain Vasco?
He's a damn good navigator and an excellent leader of men. He knows his craft well, in spite of being so young.
How old is he?
He's not seen his 25th year yet. If he keeps it up, he'll be an admiral one day.
What does Jonas do in his free time, when you're on land?
He just hangs around here or there. You know the cabin boys don't have half a sailor's wages. And when evening comes, we usually go down the tavern with good old Lauro.
Did he ever have one too many?
Never. He sips his pint like it was bad medicine. One drink lasts him the whole night.
Does he know anyone in Serene?
No one, far as I know.
Do you think he could have made himself any enemies?
I wouldn't think that for a moment. Jonas has a good heart and he steers clear of trouble and troublemakers.
Ok, quindi
I need to be going.
è
Farewell.
un tipo abbastanza tranquillo. Vediamo un po'. Almeno quanto dice lei. Andiamo a chiedere di qua.
Could I trouble you again?
Have you found Jonas?
Not yet, but I haven't given up. About that. I need to be going. Farewell.
Sì, ok. Siccome sono un pirla ho fatto il giro e mi sono ritrovato a parlare con la stessa persona. Mi devo parlare con un altro che probabilmente sa qualcosa in più ed è lui.
Good day, sailor. I've been told that you know the missing cabin boy well. Is that right?
You talking about Jonas? You bet your stars I know him. But like I've been crying to the 9 deaf winds, he didn't go missing, he was taken.
Ok.
What do you think about Captain Vasco?
He's a just man who knows his knots. He's well appreciated by the crew. It's a pity that he hasn't much heart for laughs now and again. Always seems unhappy, our captain.
Were you a witness to the event?
Yes, I was. Even though I'd had a few tumblers in the belly, I hadn't yet lost my head. The other day, in the tavern, I saw him talking to a well-dressed man, surrounded by some other sly ruffians. And then when we left, him and I, Flavia left a little earlier, you understand. Well, those brutes were there, waiting for him. They just up and took him like that. Grabbed his arms and poof, gone. Vanished.
Why didn't you intervene?
I tried to, believe me. But my legs betrayed me. Wavering they were. And I fell into the gutter.
Did you report
Cos?
this to the captain?
Unfortunately not. I know all too well what weight my words carry. Even Flavia treated me like a drunken fool. And the captain? No, not telling him that. I still have some pride left. You get me?
Ok, però è stato molto utile.
Did Jonas seem troubled to you the night he disappeared?
Maybe. For sure he wasn't his usual self.
Do you know what was on his mind?
No. No idea.
Why would anyone want to snatch a mere cabin boy?
How would
Questo
I
è il
know?
lato man.
Jonas is a gentle boy who keeps his head down. You think my story is nothing but mist too, don't you?
It's just that I can't imagine a gang of thugs hoping to get a ransom for a cabin boy. Did anyone else see the kidnapping?
There was still a small crowd in the tavern. But outside, I seem to recall that regular being there. We play cards with him from time to time. Kind of fellow who plays from morning to night time to be that skilled. But now and again he comes out. When nature calls, you know. I kind of remember his face being there.
Ok,
Thank you,
quindi
Al.
c'è un altro a cui
I need to be
chiedere,
going.
che spero che mi verrà indicato. Mi indica sempre qua, vuol dire che probabilmente posso chiederle ancora
Could I
qualcosa.
trouble you again?
Have you found Jonas?
Not yet, but I have.
Ok, sentiamo.
When did you last see him?
2 days ago, in the evening. We went to have a drink in the tavern. Jonas, Lauro and myself.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary? Was he troubled?
Maybe a tad troubled. Like he was somewhere else.
Why would that be? Give me your best guess.
Boy, I haven't the faintest idea.
I don't know where to start with this. Do you have any idea?
No. Lauro won't stop telling anyone who will lend him an ear that the boy was carried off by thugs.
And you don't believe him?
I like Lauro, don't get me wrong, he's like a brother. But to be honest, he drinks a little more than he should. The itch for a drink gets us all, but to him more than others, and when you drink too much, the imagination wanders. Here, yesterday, it was me who tied one over, and I thought I heard Jonas's voice by the canal. I called back to him, as you guessed, but then nothing. Drink. It blurs the senses.
Ok, perfetto.
I need
Allora,
to be going. Farewell.
Strange story, this is.
Something isn't right here. I can feel it. We need to lift the veil on this.
andiamo a trovare altri testimoni. In taverna.
Tavern keeper.
I see you're back. Can I pour you something this time?
Sentiamo.
Someone told me about one of your faithful clients. A big gambler, it would seem.
I see. An able-bodied man. Passes his time lightening the pouches of sailors coming through.
Where might I find him at this time?
Here? He would never give away his chair at his table.
Sentiamo dei rapimenti.
A young cabin boy who has been missing roll call for 2 days now.
A naught, you say? That's not a lot to go on. There are quite a few that come to my tavern.
Beh,
According
infatti
to
un
one
po'
of his
vago.
fellows, he would have been taken right here.
A kidnapping? In my establishment? You surely jest. Or at least I hope you do. I would have noticed. That doesn't hold water. Anything else?
I need to be
Ok,
off.
quelle domande
Farewell.
gliele avevo già fatte.
Goodbye.
E arrivederci. Eccolo qua, il nostro. Non credo che sia lui, ma facciamogli comunque le domande.
Who are you? I don't recognize you. Am I in your debt?
No, have no fear about that. It's for a different reason that I'm here. I'm looking for a naught that disappeared 2 days ago, after visiting this establishment. A young cabin boy. 2 members of his crew accompanied him.
Yes, that does ring a bell. I've played with the 3 of them.
Tell me
Cosa è
what happened
successo?
that evening.
A rich merchant came in with a band of strong arms. The kind of men you can round up for a few coins, if you catch my drift. They exchanged words with the cabin boy. The kid was defensive, not sitting pretty. And then they finally left.
And after that?
It just so happens that I did go out for a breather. Needed some fresh air. And I think I might well have seen those same men grab him. But that was none of my business. I wouldn't have thought that they were kidnapping him if that's what it was. They weren't particularly rough with him.
Il
What
mozzo?
can you tell me about the boy? How was he that night?
He seemed rather nervous, as if he was worried about something. Didn't feel like playing, that I remember. And he must have been right to be nervous, if he's disappeared.
Who was the rich merchant, do you think? A jilted lover? A moneylender?
No, my lady, you're in luck. It so happens that I know the man. It was Sir Fontaine, that merchant.
Where can I find him?
He has a house in the wealthy boroughs, just off the canal. A stone's throw from the Theleme embassy.
Thank you. You've been immensely helpful.
This man is completely owned by his love for the game. Do you think we can trust him?
What would he gain from lying?
I have no idea. But what would any wealthy merchant gain from holding a penniless child?
E andiamo a parlare con quest'altro tizio. E visto che sono paranoico, voglio anche salvare. Allora, trova. Ah, non bisogna parlare, bisogna già trovare. Ok.
I wish you a good day, Your Excellency.
Might I help you, my lady?
I would like to have a word with Sir Fontaine.
He is absent, but the lady of the house could certainly receive you. Enter, please. Might I help you, my lady?
I need to be going. Farewell.
Allora, qua parrebbe non esserci nessuno. Vediamo cosa c'è su. E c'è solo lei. Vediamo se c'è qualche oggetto da prendere. Così proprio a casissimo. No, niente, non c'è niente di particolare.
Oh, I know you. I've seen you at court. You are Lady de Sade. And to what do I owe the honor of your visit, Excellency?
I would like to have a word with your husband.
He is not here, but perhaps I could be of help.
It concerns a delicate matter. We are looking for a missing cabin boy. According to witnesses, he had an argument with your husband before being taken.
I see. I am afraid that you have been misled. You seem to have come to the wrong conclusion. The cabin boy you speak of was not taken. He has simply returned home.
Excuse me, but I'm not sure I understand.
Don't you see, Your Excellency? We got our son back.
I am
Prego.
very surprised. Several witnesses confirmed that your son had a fight with your husband, and that his men escorted him from the tavern using force. If he had joined your husband willingly...
Witnesses? In a tavern? And you choose to believe these drunkards over a respectable family?
These witnesses are all in agreement, and it is their testimonies that have led me to your doorstep.
My son was probably shocked to have found us. My husband and the other men might have simply had to carry him. A gesture that your drunkards must have misunderstood.
E come l'avete
How did you
trovato?
find your son's trail?
Perché lo
We have never
immagino.
stopped looking for him. We learned the new name they gave him, Jonas. My poor little Celestine. Then we learned the name of the ship he sailed on. No sooner had it docked in Serene than my husband had the crew watched closely, and we found him.
Where might I find your son now?
I cannot say, Excellency. You must understand why. Until the Naughts have set sail, we live in fear they will take him back from us.
This pact. It sounds like some fear-inducing story.
The Naughts wouldn't be the first to recruit through dubious means.
Ok, quindi praticamente sono ripreso come una valigia praticamente. E proseguiamo. Scopri di più sui contratti dei nauti. No. Che fosse, mi sembra un altro rapimento. Vediamo un po'. Andiamo a fondo in questa faccenda. Ah, si può
Your
parlare.
Highness, I'm happy to see you. Your absence this morning worried both your father and me.
Come now, Sir de
Ah,
Cossé. My
cioè,
father may have
preoccupati
been
per il
angry,
cugino.
outraged, or disappointed, but he's never worried about me. I am sad to have caused you any worry, though. Would you believe that I was rotting away in a sinister jail, guarded by thugs ready to kill me? Though still seeing double from last night's drink, I was preparing a an ingenious escape plan when, ta-da! My fair cousin jumped up out of nowhere and saved me. I'm quite the fairy tale damsel in distress.
Ok.
Refrain from the company of bandits the night before such an important departure.
Take away the risk and halve the pleasure, de Cosilion. It is the salt of life.
I fear that some of my teachings have been misunderstood. But you wanted to ask me something, de Sade?
Sì, avrei voluto vederlo sto piano comunque,
What will be
visto
your
che
official title
chiediamo.
around here for D? Or are you just here to keep an eye on us?
Come now, don't be ridiculous. I'm coming in the capacity of official advisor, nothing more. But His Highness has also asked me to report to him on certain strategic observations. I am therefore required to take note of all events, chart the island and its resources, but also obtain as much knowledge as possible concerning the more dangerous creatures of the island. Your help will be extremely valuable to me. I've no longer the legs of an adventurer.
It's always a privilege to help, Master. I need to be leaving. I have quite a few things to do before we raise anchor.
È stato un piacere conoscerti, tutto il resto, ma ora andiamo a chiedere queste cose qua. Credo di essere nella direzione sbagliata. C'è un sacco di roba da prendere in giro.
Madam, are you ready to leave?
Not quite. I still have a few errands to run for my uncle. And what about you?
I'm still without news of my cabin boy, but we will have to do without.
I spoke with a woman who told me she was the mother of the cabin boy. She claims that her son was taken from her.
Taken? Her son is sea-gifted. His parents were required to give him up to honor the terms of a contract.
A contract?
Aha!
But what kind of contract are we speaking of?
A commercial contract. In exchange for services rendered by the Nords, some families cede more than gold. In some cases, nations even trade some of their subjects before they're born. I wouldn't be able to tell you the condition of Jonas's contract. I didn't even know he was originally from Serene. But what I can tell you is the young man hasn't seen his parents since he was a small child. And ever since, he's been a Nord. Our ships are his home. We are his only family.
Be back soon, Captain.
You see anyone else who might be able to help us? Anyone who's not a Naut?
Chiediamo informazioni dei corsi LON. Non so neanche se l'ho pronunciato. Ah, è quel personaggio di cui ho parlato prima. Quanti discorsi. E vuoi sapere sta cosa qui?
You must know her. That rich family that lives near the docks. She told me a strange story about her son who was a cabin boy on our ship. She said that he was taken when he was a child, due to some contract with the Nords.
Who was a cabin boy? Do you mean he's no longer one?
They took him back to bring him home.
Well, that is very unpleasant news, de Sade. We need to do all we can to bring the boy back to his ship. Since time immemorial, there's always been a certain price to pay for the services of the Nords. Children born on their ships belong to them. It's the rule of the sea. But certain contracts are so important that they also require children to be offered in exchange.
Cosa tremenda.
From time to time, the congregation has passed such accord, and certain noble families had to give their children up.
Are you telling me that the Fontaines lost their son in an agreement signed between my uncle and the Nords?
No. That pact ended a long time ago. This cabin boy couldn't have been a part of that contract. But Sir Fontaine has made a fortune trading with the Alliance, via ships.
Do you mean he would have offered up his own son in exchange for wealth?
Well, he probably did it before the birth of the child, and regretted it afterwards. But that is of little importance. What counts most is that you bring the boy back to the Naughts as quickly as possible. Breaking a contract with the seafarers has always cost us dearly. Our nation could feel it in its coffers.
I will do my best.
A father selling his own son for a few boat rides. For ugly, that is ugly.
Lady Fontaine didn't seem to have any knowledge of that detail. That could be of use to us.
È una roba tremenda. Cioè, anche se da un lato pare che questo Jonas non volesse tornare indietro in realtà. Ma è terrificante. Ah, qua si devo sempre avvisare della partenza. Va a finire che parto non lo saprà. Ora, armato di... cosa c'è qui?
This document mentions another property. A warehouse.
That would be a great place to hide. Shall we take a peek?
E farsi letteralmente i cazzi degli altri perché... non letteralmente.
Excuse me, madam, but I haven't quite finished my inquiries.
If you would be so courteous, I would like you to leave. I have told you all that I have to say.
With respect, my
Ok.
lady.
Con chi devo parlare qui? Probabilmente. Ah, ok. Se avessi letto la nota probabilmente avrei capito che... un altro oggetto. E sbagliare strada non è sempre un male. Andiamo.
I must go to the dispensary. Maybe I will be able to make myself useful there.
Sulla nota che... se ripesco probabilmente... Ah, ok. Ci ho messo un po', ma ci sono arrivato praticamente in magazzini e dove potrebbe essere nascosto il mozzo. Quindi bisogna cercare i magazzini uno per uno e...
Here we are. Be careful. Fontaine won't be alone. He'll have his henchmen with him.
Ovviamente.
Right, cousin?
Let's just try to remain discreet.
Qua niente. Niente di niente.
Lady de Sade, what are you doing here?
I have come looking for your son. The Naughts are worried about his disappearance.
Those Naughts took him from us, but now we've got him back, and he'll be staying with us.
Would you be so kind as to hear what I have to say, Sir Fontaine?
Vediamo un po'. Andiamo di carisma.
You've taken your son against his will and have locked him up like merchandise in a warehouse. Is that what you call being a good father?
If I hadn't taken him back, he would have been hauled off on one of the cursed ships.
If that's what he wants, then why would you want to stop him?
For his mother. She misses him so. But in the end, you may be right. My boy has changed. He hasn't spoken a word to me since we've been in this precarious predicament. Very well. Take the key and take him away. Cursed be the day I delivered my son unto the Naughts.
All children leave the nest one day or another, sir. Farewell.
Ok, e questa missione è svolta con successo. Basta, ho già fatto. Ah, devo andarlo a riparare, ok.
So it's here that our man keeps his son. Abusive fathers.
Sei tu, Jonas?
Who are you?
My name is Desade. I'm legate of the congregation. Your captain has sent me to find you.
And were you able to convince my father to allow me to go free?
Yes, even if I had to bend his arm a little.
That doesn't surprise me. He seemed to have no intention of changing his mind. I feel more sorry for my mother. She seems so sweet and happy to see me.
You don't seem to be all that close to your parents.
I hadn't seen them since I was 5 years old. I barely remember them. They find me, capture me, and lock me up in this warehouse. Hard to grow close after all that. My family is the Naughts. I am sorry for my parents, but that is the way of it now. Can I go home?
Yes. You should still go and say farewell to your mother. Then find your way to your ship. I will see you there.
Ok, e l'abbiamo liberato. Questo cos'è?
It's not possible just now.
Non c'ho l'abilità per farlo. Questo? Cosa c'è qui? Oh, oggetti. Quindi ora cosa mi resta? Ah, devo andare a informare il capitano, che mi dirà bravo, bravo, e ricompensa. Almeno mi auguro, almeno una ricompensa. E ok, pare che non abbia nient'altro da dirmi. E andiamo dal nostro capitano preferito, cioè beh, l'unico.
Welcome. Have you seen?
Ci si può equipaggiare in modi diversi. A fare quella missione lì, quanto pare. Aspetta, chi è che...
Madam, are you ready to leave?
Not quite. I still have a few errands to run for my uncle. And what about you?
My cabin boy, Jonas, is back on ship. I have you to thank, I imagine.
You do. It's a rather sad affair, and though solved, leaves a broken family behind.
All we can do is plot a course. No one tells the wind what to do. I do thank you. I didn't think you'd go to so much trouble for a cabin boy. Your actions bring you honor.
Ok. E sono anche passato di livello.
Could you tell me a little about your guild?
We are masters of the oceans.
Okay.
Thanks to your magic.
Our magic, yes. That only as for your others are it's how the...
Ok, quindi sono una specie di classe, ma queste cose le avevo già fatte. E level up. Ma a parte questo, quindi posso... soprattutto ok, noi prendiamoci un talento visto che ce li ho. Una mano pesante, stasi serve per ah ok, ci vogliono 2 punti per poter sbloccare, però si può. È una cosa simpatica perché puoi personalizzare molto di più. Ok, ma io continuo col corpo a corpo. Ok, qua devo arrivare al livello 4 e qua al livello 5. Si possono azzerare le abilità, le cose molto simpatiche. Vediamo un po' se per caso ah ok, non si possono nemmeno vedere le loro abilità. Quindi mi sa che questa missione non potrò farla perché non potendo preparare, cioè probabilmente ho scelto un approccio che non sapevo non potevo fare e quindi questa missione non è fattibile. Spero che si possa fare successivamente. Ma al momento attuale mi sa che non è possibile farla, quindi visto che questa non la posso fare, andiamo a informare quest'uomo.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
I have come to inform you that my cousin Constantine and I are departing for Tir on the hour.
Ah, yes. I did indeed hear talk that you had both received callings of greater stature. Allow me to congratulate you. Were you not named legate of the congregation?
You are correct, Excellency. I thank you.
It is a station of great honor that I am sure you will fill with brio and panache. The Mother Cardinal Cornelia will be enchanted to work with you, and your cousin in the future. I only regret that your departure is so sudden.
Really?
To be entirely honest with you, I was hoping to solicit your help in a rather delicate matter.
Tell me more about it, and perhaps I can take care of your problem.
Un'altra cosa da fare, bello, bello.
A small group of dangerous heretics has found refuge in Serene. We know that your uncle tolerates the presence of all pagans within the city walls. But these particular non-believers threaten the fragile harmony of this place. We would consider it a tremendous favor if you would arrest them and deliver them to our guard.
Heresy is not a crime in Serene. You do know that, but I'm sure that my uncle would hear your arguments. Why call on my intervention?
The prince would indeed give us his blessing, but it would take time. Far too much time. For according to our sources, these fugitives have already made contact with a smuggler to take them who knows where.
I see. You were hoping that I'll be able to do something before they make it to an enemy city. If your heretics are planning on boarding a ship, then they must be in the dockyards. I'll look into this and see what I can do.
Ok, proseguiamo con questa. E altre domande
Could you
così.
tell me anything about Ptolemy?
It would be a pleasure. As you already know, our glorious nation is guided by our faith. We follow the teachings of Matthias, our founder and greatest prophet, and give thanks each day to the Luminous for having gifted us magic. The high dignitaries of Ptolemy are at the same time our spiritual guides, advocates, and grand mages.
E quante cose in
I've
uno.
heard say that dissensions have appeared recently in your nation.
Ah, you must certainly be speaking about the debates that have divided the Ordo Luminous and the more political orders. The Lord Luminous has an extremely pure vision of our faith and applies the words of our saint very strictly. But other, more open-minded factions exist within our nation. They believe that a less rigid dialectic would attract souls more readily to our faith. But their differences are purely theoretical and do not threaten the cohesion of our nation, I assure you.
Ah, quando c'è religione c'è sempre casino, quindi non è che mi
What is
fidi,
your point of view on the relations between our two nations?
As ambassador of Ptolemy, I can only rejoice at the mention of our commercial treaties. We appreciate as well the welcome that your uncle gave to our missionaries. Thanks to your support, more and more believers wander your lands. The congregation is our most precious ally. To be perfectly honest, we have only two complaints: that heresy is tolerated, and that your treaties with the Bridge Alliance are maintained.
How is Ptolemy faring on Tirfridi?
We built a marvelous city, San Matthias, on the western coast of the island. Did you know that certain historians believe that it might well have been the final resting place of our prophet? Our missionaries there are a
Magari lo
multitude.
scopriremo.
Not a day passes without new islanders joining our sacred faith. Of course, there are certain pockets of resistance. There is talk of a demonic cult, disgusting creatures. But I am confident that the Ordo Luminous will be able to put an end to these horrors. And we have tremendous hopes that the entire native population will join our ranks.
Ma guarda, io spero di no, poi...
How goes the conflict with the Bridge Alliance?
Your territory is, alas, the only one that has been spared from the ravages of war on the continent. We fight on every front, without great success, one must say. But what other choice do we have? These so-called savants not only refuse the light, but are determined in their fight against it.
And on Tirfridi?
To my knowledge, no one has yet seen any serious fighting. The Bridge have succeeded in provoking the natives there, and have their hands full keeping them at bay. Which leaves us greater latitude to settle peacefully and pursue our mission of conversion.
Ok, dunque la fazione più religiosa. Devo dire che mi mette un po' a disagio perché sono un po' fissati.
Farewell, Excellency.
Ma
May the
ok,
light guide you, Desade.
considerazioni personali a parte, abbiamo scoperto un po' di di cose. Allora, posso andare a dire al capitano che siamo pronti, oppure andare a trovare il contrabbandiere. Ma queste sono tutte cose che farò la prossima parte. Adesso, come riepilogando, direi che non sono riuscito a produrre quella bevanda che avrei dovuto, perché non ho le abilità né io né i miei compagni, o quantomeno magari c'è il modo, ma io non ho trovato, oppure ho sbagliato l'approccio. Sono riuscito a salvare il mozzo e ho avvisato della mia partenza. Ora non mi resta che andare a trovare il contrabbandiere, ma lo farò la prossima partita. Ciao a tutti, alla prossima parte, e dovrebbe essere prima dalla seconda alla terza. Ciao a tutti!